Welcome to the completely free high ticket dropshipping course. This is module number 2, going over niche selection. Now, it's niche or niche, whatever way you want to say it. But if you haven't watched module 1, I highly recommend you watch module 1 before you watch any part of this video. These modules are set up in order so you can follow it step by step to see your first dropshipping sale with high ticket and hiring and scaling your business from there. So in today's video, we will be talking about niche selection. This is going to be the foundation after you set up your business, got all your LLC, business banking, credit cards, and all that set up. Let's talk about niche selection. Here is an overview of what we're going to be talking about inside of this video. So we're going to talk about what makes a good niche, brainstorming niche ideas, the perfect amount of niche down, niche research spreadsheet. So that will be here, and then your niche angle. So let's talk about the characteristics of a good niche. So that entails low competition, high demand, non-seasonal, lots of suppliers, and high price point. These are all characteristics of a good niche. You don't have to fit every single one, but if you fit all 5, this could mean that you will see success a lot faster. So with high ticket dropshipping, the beauty of this business model is that any store and any niche will work if you give it enough time. It just depends. If you pick a very competitive niche, it will take you longer to see results ultimately. I have never failed a single store with high ticket dropshipping. Now, the store that I recommend is to have a niche down store. Don't have a broad store where you sell generators to saunas to fireplaces to desks, stand-up desks. We want to be an authority in a specific industry. So these are what makes a good niche, and we'll come back to this, so don't worry. So brainstorming niche ideas. So we need to find some niche ideas to go into. So these are 3 ways I recommend that you use to find niche ideas for your store. One is to look around you. This I do recommend, depending on where you are. If you're in a city area, you will find more products that maybe less people have sold in the past or are less competitive. You can also use the random word generator, which I'm going to show you a live demo of in Browse Big Box Retailers. So let's just jump right into using the random word generator. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to use the random word generator. So let's go ahead and pull up a random word generator. And we'll go to google.com. We're also going to pull up a notepad. So these are going to be the 3 foundations in order to find a niche. So I like to use this to just find random niches and then branch ideas off from them. So number of words, let's do 3. Generate random words. With history, see, and direct. These aren't really good product words, so we'll just keep generating. Possible, negligence, trench. Okay, let's see what we can find. Trench warfare, trench coat, trench coat. Okay, this is, we don't really want to be selling clothing. We want to be selling stuff above $1,000, so trench coats really don't fit in that. So what we can do is just search, what's a trench pike? Looks like some World War II thing. Trench drain. Okay, what is this? 4-inch trench drain system. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So what I like to do is just filter by $1,000, just so we can find the more expensive items. So this looks like a store that sells landscape equipment. NDS Duraslope kit. So it looks like it's a drainage system. Okay, so I have no clue like what this even. Obviously, it's a drainage system, but I'm not really technical on that, so looks like they have a landscape store. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of unique items. So catch basins, drain gates, channel and trench drains, drain pipes, erosion control, pop-up drainage emitters. You get the point. Let's take a look at these. These aren't too expensive. We want to look items ideally above $1,000. Let's do price high to low. Okay. So drainage system. So let's go ahead and reload. Just type in drainage system. So they seem to have like a landscape store where selling landscape equipment, a ton of random items that I would really have no clue they are, but most of the items aren't really that expensive. If we click, yeah, it just looks like view all equipment parts. Let's do price high to low. Yes, there's the $8,000 gauge, but like most of the items are really cheap, so I really don't want to get into this niche because the items are really way too cheap. So let's just put in terms of ideas found drainage system. So we type in drainage system. Let's go above $1,000. M Marine Online. Okay, interesting. So this is, at first I thought it's like a marine store where it sells like marine equipment, but now it has like, okay, I mean this does go in marine air conditioning, marine refrigerating. So right here, like you could do this store the same angle, so the marine store that sells the similar product types, but like I can tell you, like this store is not really well optimized. Doesn't look that great, and you would be able to compete on them against them in terms of customers. So that is one angle or one store idea. Let's see. So there is this perfect amount of niche down. We're gonna go ahead and make a copy of this just so we can edit it for this scenario. There are some pre-written product types, but let's do, what is this? A drainage system. So we found drainage system, where we looked up trench, and then we're here looking at marine air conditioning. So this is definitely a really good store in terms of competition. We would have to check other areas, but let's just type in marine air conditioning. Average price point. These are really good in terms of price point. I mean, not super good, but they're a lot better than what we were looking at before. 2,000 to 3,000, upwards of 5,000. Okay, seasonality. This is where we probably aren't going to be that good on in terms of this niche. So we type in marine air conditioning. Do last 5 years. Okay, so wait, why does it say Trump? Marine air conditioning. Okay, so this seems to be up and down, probably because there's not a ton of searches, which isn't the end of the deal. Mostly like people in California, Florida, and New York are buying these. Let's use Ahrefs. So this is a paid tool, but if you type in marine air conditioning, you can see that competition is very low based on the keyword difficulty, but the volume is only 400. So volume being this low is only a worry if this is the only thing that you're selling. When you have a marine store that sells not just marine air conditioning, this is not to be worried about, because even if there's only 400 people searching per month for just marine air conditioning, it's such an underground item that you're going to be able to bid very cheaply and get very cheap clicks, and overall be very easily able to convert customers that are looking for something like this. So even if marine air conditioning is only 400 searches a month, that's completely fine. Let's take a look at the seasonality. So it always peaks in June, July. Yeah. Peaks in warmer months. All right, and then let's fill out the brand section. So if you just look at this, these are all product types that we can have in a marine store. So even though these are seasonal, low search volume, these are still very, very uncompetitive. We have other things that we can sell on a marine store, like boat equipment. So these are going to be very seasonal, most likely, unless there's some items that are not related to just boats. But yacht toys, $17,000 water sled. Marine generators, okay. Let's just look up generator instead of parts. Okay, these generators are really expensive. Upwards of 25,000. So marine generators. 800 searches. Very, very uncompetitive. So if someone were to do this niche, which is a really good idea. So marine generators, marine air conditioner, marine store, seasonal, in the summer months. Unless there is something on here that is not like good for the winter, then this would be like a really, really good niche. Being super seasonal like this, where it's mainly for the summer, I personally would not do, but you could definitely do it. You know, in the winter months, your store would just kind of be like on autopilot. You might get a sale here and there, but your big months are going to be the summer months if you were to do this store angle. Stabilizers, air heater. Okay, so these are marine air heater. These are really expensive too. Marine heater has 250. These are definitely not seasonal. I mean, they would do better in the winter months. Marine water heater. Yeah, these are pretty consistent. So most of these items don't have a ton of search volume, and that's completely fine. Ideally, we want stuff combined above 20K, and there's definitely a ton of products on this store that we haven't even discovered. So I would say this is easily above 20K in terms of search volume per month for all the product types on here. So this would be a good store angle that you could potentially do. Now, in terms of buying a domain, we like to use Namecheap. In terms of this store, marine water heater. Oh, we haven't done the brand, so generally with the brand section of this sheet, you just want to list out. If you can find 10 brands pretty easily, that's a good sign. You want to pick a niche that has plenty of brands, so you aren't locked into just a couple brands that if you can't get in with, you would be in a bad situation. So just looking at this store, there's plenty of brands in tons of categories. Marine lighting, okay, these are definitely cheaper but would fit on a marine type store. Marine refrigerator, so that's another brand. So the brand is usually like the very first part of the title. It's also the brand is who it makes the item. So in this case, it's Vertigo. I think that's how you pronounce it. So if you can find 10 pretty easily, then it's not. Don't really have to fill out the rest of the sheet. Marine toilets. Okay, these are some really underground. So Vetus. That's another brand. Japsco. Okay, that's another brand. So it looks like there's plenty of brands in this industry. Bow trousers. Or bow trousers. What even is this? What is a bow trouser? A propeller located in the ship's bow to provide added maneuverability as when docking. Okay, and I really don't know what this is, but like these go up to 16K, 9K, 5K. Yeah, so that is definitely a product type. Also, good to first get started. So inside niche and store angle, obviously we're going to do a marine store seasonal in the summer months, and then we're going to actually get these 4 brands, or sorry, start with these 4 product types in terms of building out our marine store. It's going to center around the boat. So we just look at bow trousers. These are 300. So there's plenty of brands. Sorry, I'm flipping through a ton of pages. Quick USA. It's another brand. Vetus. Here's another one for Stern Trouser. Again, don't even know what this is either. There we go. We have 5 product types. Plenty of brands to go and start to store around. If we build a very niche down store that is going to be specialized in marine equipment. So let's do something like marine MarineEquipment.com. Is that even available? It is, but it's 24,000. Marine. Whoops. Supplies.com. Nope. Marine Supply. How about like that? Marine Supply Direct. Now with domain names, you really don't want to have more than 3 words, because it's just going to be very hard to remember. My Marine Direct. Okay, there we go. My Marine Direct. We have a domain name we can use. Available. So there we go. We went from just searching up trench drain, or the word was actually trench, to building out an entire store around some marine equipment. Now the only thing is that this fits a lot of things, such as high price point. Let me go back to this. High price point, lots of suppliers, doesn't have high demand, but with all the products and product types that there are on that competitor's website, there's going to be plenty of demand to go around. Low competition. To check this, you can just look at the keyword difficulty. It gives you a good idea. So if you just type in like the main product types that you're going to be selling, so bow trousers only has 31. So ideally like the lower the better, but I sell some stuff that are above like 60, 70 really well in my store. So just because this number may be high doesn't mean that you can't sell that product type on a store that's very specific about marine equipment. So we just look at marine generators. I believe this was not even competitive at all. 18 on a scale of 100. So this is something worth looking into. Go back. Non-seasonal. So this is where this store angle and niche is going to be not quite fitting this non-seasonal. There are probably items I haven't really spent a ton of time on. Where was the store? I think I closed out of the store, but that competitor's store, I didn't spend a ton of time on there, but there probably is items that are not as seasonal, like those heaters. Oh, there we go. Like these heaters, maybe anchoring docking is not as seasonal. We just want to discover this niche more. As long as there are items that are the bulk of this store is going to sell marine stuff, boat stuff. People are going to buy that stuff in the summer, but in the winter, think of stuff like heaters that they have that can compensate for the winter months. So you're not completely dead or have very, very low sales during that period. So in terms of that, I wouldn't say seasonality is the worst for this store angle. It's obviously definitely going to do better in the summer months, but that does not kill this store entirely. So I would say out of scale like 1 through 10, this fits most of these, 8 to 9 out of 10. This would be a store I would probably pursue. But that's how you essentially find a niche. You got everything built out for you. Now you can grab this sheet down below, and that's how you use a random word generator. There's also, you can browse big box retailers, which I'll show you, but it's not really, I don't think it's as good as just doing the random word generator, but I'll show you real quick. So we just go to like Home Depot, for example. You can do the same thing. Instead of generating random words and looking at Google Shopping, you just browse like random categories. So I don't know, kitchen appliances, French presses. I think this is coffee related. Okay. meat slicers. I actually sold one of these back when I was doing low ticket dropshipping, or plenty of these, not just one. Interesting. So you take meat slicers and you just put in Google Shopping and you start the whole process over again. Or $1,000, and then you find a store angle based on just that one product that you looked up. So we have WN machinery, kitchen groups. So open up some stores, Cooler Depot. Okay, so this does not look like a good store. Looks like a just a supplier trying to sell on their own website. You can tell because it doesn't show you the brand, and Wenming's sounds like an Asian brand. So we're not going to be selling Asian brands anyways. We want to be selling, unless you're selling in China, of course. So, kitchen groups. So this looks like their own brand, is because it says right here, become a dealer. So this is like a supplier that's selling on their own website. But that doesn't really matter at this stage. If you were to find a niche, you can look at what product types they have. So we have like commercial meat slicers. So you can go into like commercial restaurant equipment. Maybe stuff that only has to do with meat, so you're not just a general restaurant store. But you can still pick a domain name that's like restaurant supplies direct, so that you're not just only selling meat slicer. Because if the meat slicers don't do that well for you, they don't have the best margins, then you can always add other products that are under that domain name, but still are specialized because you're still a restaurant store. All right, so that's how you find niches using all random word generators and looking at big box retailers. So the perfect amount of niche down, I'm going to show you right here. So a niche that's not too broad and not too niche is a perfect way to approach and angle a store. This will give you the best of both niche and broad stores in terms of benefits. So we look at right here, pros of a broad store. The ability to expand. You have a ton of suppliers. This is good for a broad store. However, the cons of the broad store is probably what is gonna like give you lower success rates. Not success rates, like the ability to see results as fast. Because the cons of a broad store is it's logistically complex. When you have a ton of suppliers, it's a lot to manage because one might have sales, one might have price updates, and it's a lot of managing suppliers. It's doable, but it's not. We're not recommended for beginners. Now, lower conversion rate because you're not specialized in one area. I think this is the most important part. When you're not specialized, you have a store that sells like sofas to, I don't know, sofas to lawnmowers to saunas, random items on one store. You're not specialized compared to something like My Marine or mymarinedirect.com, where you only are selling marine equipment. Now we'll talk about a niche store in terms of its pros. So higher conversion rate, quicker sales and success. Typically, no success is guaranteed with anything in life. And then able to find winners faster. This is very, very important as well. When you're spending advertising dollars on a store that has thousands of products versus tens to hundreds of products, the more diversified your budget is and your spend is to the amount of products, the slower it will take for you to find those potential best sellers and to be aggressive and sell more of those. So that's why a niche store is by far the preferred way of building your high ticket dropshipping store. Cons of a niche store: less scalability. You can still do 6 to 7 figures revenue monthly, so do not worry about it if you're not already making that, because by then, if you're doing 6 to 7 figures, million per month, then you can just build another broad store. You can build a broad store if you really want the challenge, but for most people, a niche store is the best way to go in terms of building their first online e-commerce store. So again, your niche angle is you want to build it around a theme. So my theme inside of that example is where we sell marine equipment. You can also theme stuff around a hobby, activity, or a particular customer avatar is an easy way to visualize it. So think athletes. So maybe a store around just basketball or just basketball athletes. So think basketball hoops, basketball stadium, what products are there. That's a good way to visualize if you're going to do the customer avatar route. So what I've done in this example is clearly a hobby or activity. So my marine people that like to be on their boats and just like do whatever they fish or just enjoy the sea. My Marine Direct would be the go-to place for them to buy marine equipment. So that covers everything up in terms of niche selection. What makes a good niche? Brainstorming niche ideas using the random word generator. Is what I recommend. The perfect amount of niche down. The niche research spreadsheet. So you can grab this spreadsheet with a link down in the description of this video, as well as your niche angle. So your niche angle, again, is covered right here, and I went over it multiple times. But generally, this is how I pick a 6 to 7 figure store niche. If you have any questions, leave them down below inside the comment section. I'll do my best to reply to each and every single one of them. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.